There is a quiet room inside your head that never sleeps. In this room, a voice is constantly speaking. It narrates your life, judges your actions, predicts your future, and replays your past. This voice is the stream of your thoughts. For most of us, this voice is not a kind master or a wise guide. It is a frantic, worried, critical tyrant. It tells us we aren't good enough, that the world is dangerous, that we made a mistake yesterday, and that we will surely fail tomorrow. We listen to this voice as if it were delivering the news, reporting on reality with objective accuracy. But this is the fundamental error that keeps us trapped in lives we do not want. The voice is not reporting reality, it is creating it. The single most important realization a human being can have is that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that hears them. And because you are the listener, not the speaker, you have the power to change the channel. You have the power to control your thoughts, and in doing so, you have the power to change the entire architecture of your life. To understand how to control your thoughts, we must first understand the mechanics of the mind. The brain is not designed for happiness, it is designed for survival. It is an ancient biological machine calibrated to detect threats. In the ancestral environment, the rustle in the grass might have been a lion. The person who assumed it was a lion and ran away survived. The person who assumed it was just the wind and stayed might have been eaten. Therefore, we evolved a negativity bias. Our brains are like Velcro for bad experiences and Teflon for good ones. We ruminate on insults and forget compliments. We obsess over one mistake and ignore 100 successes. This is not a defect in your character, it is a feature of your biology. However, in the modern world, where the threats are rarely physical predators and are instead emails, social awkwardness, or financial stress, this survival mechanism becomes a prison. We are living in a state of chronic, low-grade fight or flight response, triggered not by reality, but by our thoughts about reality. Most people live in a state of cognitive fusion. This means they are fused with their thoughts. If the thought, "I am a failure," arises, they immediately believe it. They feel the heavy sink of sadness in their stomach. They slump their shoulders. They avoid taking on a new challenge. The thought becomes the reality. Controlling your thoughts does not mean stopping them. You cannot stop the mind from thinking any more than you can stop the heart from beating. Trying to stop thoughts usually makes them louder, a phenomenon known as the ironic process theory. If you try not to think of a white bear, you will think of nothing but a white bear. Control, in the context of the mind, means management, direction, and selection. It means stepping back from the fusion and creating a gap between the thought and the believer. This gap is where freedom lives. The first step in this transformation is metacognition. This is a fancy word for thinking about your thinking. It is the ability to observe the traffic of your mind without stepping into the road. Imagine you are sitting on the bank of a river. The river is your stream of consciousness. Logs, leaves, and debris float by. These are your thoughts. Most of us are constantly jumping into the freezing water, grabbing onto a log and letting it drag us downstream, smashing us into rocks. Metacognition is the act of climbing out of the water, sitting on the grass, and watching the logs float by. You see a thought, "I am going to mess up this presentation." Instead of engaging with it, arguing with it, or believing it, you simply label it. You say, "I am having the thought that I will mess up." This slight shift in language is profound. It separates your identity from the mental event. It reduces the emotional charge. You become the observer, the sky in which the clouds pass, rather than the storm itself. Once you have established this observer perspective, you can begin the work of cognitive restructuring. This is the process of challenging and changing the distorted narratives that run your life. We all have cognitive distortions, irrational thought patterns that reinforce negative emotions. One common distortion is all or nothing thinking. If you aren't perfect, you're a failure. If you eat one cookie, you've ruined your diet, so you might as well eat the whole box. Another is catastrophizing, where you immediately jump to the worst-case scenario. Your boss wants to see you, so you assume you are getting fired, becoming homeless, and dying alone. Another is mind-reading, where you assume you know what others are thinking about you, and it's always negative. When you catch yourself in these loops, you must act as a scientist or a lawyer in your own defense. You must put the thought on trial. When the thought, "I am a failure," arises, you ask, "Is this true? Is it 100% true? What is the evidence for this? What is the evidence against it? Have I ever succeeded at anything? If a friend came to me with this thought, what would I tell them?" Usually, under cross-examination, the negative thought crumbles. It is revealed to be a lie, a dramatic exaggeration of the ego. Once you deconstruct the old thought, you must replace it with a new, more adaptive thought. This is not about toxic positivity or lying to yourself. It is about finding a more accurate, helpful truth. Instead of, "I am a failure," the new thought might be, "I failed at this specific task, but that is a learning opportunity. And I have succeeded in many other areas." This new thought produces a different feeling, perhaps disappointment, but not despair. And from that feeling comes a different action. Instead of giving up, you try again. This brings us to the concept of neuroplasticity. For a long time, scientists believed that the adult brain was fixed, that once you reached a certain age, your neural pathways were set in stone. We now know this is false. The brain is plastic, it is malleable, it changes based on what you do and what you think. As the Canadian psychologist Donald Hebb famously said, "Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you think a thought, you are strengthening a neural pathway." If you spend 10 years thinking, "I am ugly," you have built a superhighway in your brain dedicated to that thought. It becomes the path of least resistance. It becomes automatic. Controlling your thoughts is the process of building new roads and letting the old highways overgrow with weeds. This is why repetition is key. You cannot change your life by thinking a positive thought once. You have to think it thousands of times. You have to practice the new narrative until it becomes the default setting. This is where affirmations come in, but they must be used correctly. Standing in the mirror and saying, "I am a billionaire," when you are broke usually creates internal conflict. Your brain rejects the lie. Better affirmations are progressive. "I am becoming more financially literate every day. I am capable of learning. I am willing to do the work." These are believable. They bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You are literally physically rewiring the hardware of your brain through the software of your mind. But thoughts do not exist in a vacuum. They are deeply tied to our physiology. It is very difficult to think powerful, positive thoughts when you are exhausted, hungover, sedentary, and eating garbage. Your body is the vessel of your mind. If the vessel is broken, the contents will leak. One of the fastest ways to change your thinking is to change your state. If you are stuck in a mental loop of anxiety, you cannot think your way out of it. You have to move, go for a run, take a cold shower, lift heavy weights, change your breathing. When you change your physiology, you change your biochemistry. And when you change your biochemistry, your thoughts change automatically. It is a bottom-up approach to mental control. Discipline in the body creates clarity in the mind. You cannot master your life if you are a slave to your physical impulses. We must also address the environment. Your thoughts are not entirely your own. They are reactions to the stimuli around you. If you surround yourself with negative, cynical, complaining people, your thoughts will inevitably turn negative. We are social animals. We absorb the energy of the pack. If you spend hours every day scrolling through social media, consuming news designed to outrage and terrify you, watching videos that make you feel inadequate, you are voluntarily drinking poison and wondering why you feel sick. To control your thoughts, you must curate your input. You must become the gatekeeper of your own mind. You have to ruthlessly eliminate the sources of mental pollution. Read books that expand your horizon. Listen to podcasts that teach you skills. Spend time with people who challenge you to be better, who speak about ideas rather than other people. When you change the input, the output, your thoughts and your life will change. Another powerful tool in this arsenal is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a nice sentiment, it is a cognitive hack. The brain has a reticular activating system, RAS, a filter that decides what information gets through to your conscious awareness. If you decide to buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. They were always there, but now your RAS is looking for them. When you practice gratitude, you are telling your RAS to look for the good. You are training your brain to scan the world for opportunities, blessings, and beauty. It is impossible to be in a state of genuine gratitude and a state of fear at the same time. They are incompatible frequencies. By forcing yourself to write down 3 things you are grateful for every morning, you are priming your brain to see the positive throughout the day. Over time, this shifts your baseline level of happiness and reduces the automatic negativity bias. Let's talk about the relationship between thoughts and emotions. Many people believe that thoughts cause emotions. I think, I am in danger, and I feel fear. This is true, but it is also true that emotions cause thoughts. If you wake up feeling irritable because you didn't sleep well, your brain will immediately start scanning your life to find a reason for the irritability. It will land on your partner's messy habits or your job's demands. It will attach a story to the feeling to justify it. This is called emotional reasoning. You feel it, so it must be true. To control your thoughts, you must learn to feel your feelings without buying into the story they are trying to sell you. You can simply say, I am feeling anxious right now. That is a physical sensation in my chest. It does not mean the world is ending. It just means my nervous system is aroused. You feel the wave, you let it pass, and you do not let it dictate your narrative. This is emotional intelligence. One of the greatest obstacles to controlling our thoughts is the past. Many of us are dragged backward by regret, trauma, and old narratives. We replay our failures like a movie that we can't turn off. We think that by analyzing the past over and over, we can somehow fix it or prevent it from happening again. But rumination is not problem solving. It is just suffering. To change your life, you must make peace with the past. This means accepting that it happened, that it cannot be changed, and that it does not define you. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive others, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free of the burden of resentment. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It keeps you trapped in a mental prison of your own making. When you let go of the past, you free up an enormous amount of mental energy that can be used to build the future. The future, however, can be just as dangerous as the past if we are not careful. Anxiety is essentially living in the future. It is the imagination used poorly. We construct elaborate scenarios of doom and disaster that have not happened. We suffer them in advance. To control your thoughts, you must learn to live in the present moment. The present is the only place where you have any power. You cannot act in the past. You cannot act in the future. You can only act now. Mindfulness is the practice of returning your attention to the here and now. It is washing the dishes while thinking about washing the dishes, not thinking about the argument you might have next week. When you pull your mind back from the scary future and the regretful past, you find that the present moment is usually manageable. In this breath, right now, you are okay. Visualization is the proactive side of controlling your thoughts. Instead of letting your imagination run wild with fear, you harness it to create the life you want. The brain has trouble distinguishing between a vividly imagined event and a real one. This is why athletes visualize their races. By closing your eyes and seeing yourself succeeding, feeling the emotions of that success, and walking through the steps, you are priming your brain for that reality. You are creating a memory of the future. This builds confidence and familiarity. It aligns your subconscious mind with your conscious goals. If you cannot see it in your mind, you cannot hold it in your hand. You must construct the blueprint internally before you can build the structure externally. It is important to understand that this is not a smooth, linear process. You will have bad days. You will have days where the negative voice is screaming, where the old habits return, where you feel like you have made no progress. This is normal. The path to mastery is a spiral, not a straight line. The key is not perfection, it is resilience. It is the refractory period. How long does it take you to notice you have spiraled? How long does it take you to catch the negative thought and correct it? Maybe it used to take you a week of depression, then it takes a day, then an hour. Eventually, you can catch it in the moment. That is mastery. Do not beat yourself up for having a negative thought. That is just adding a second arrow to the wound. Just notice it, forgive yourself, and gently guide your attention back to the path. There is a profound connection between your thoughts and your self-image. We all have a cybernetic mechanism in our brains, like a thermostat. We have a set point for what we believe we deserve, how much money we can make, how much love we can receive. If you try to change your life externally without changing your self-image internally, your thermostat will kick in and sabotage you. You will feel uncomfortable with the new success because it doesn't match the you in your head. You will find a way to lose the money or ruin the relationship to get back to your familiar zone of misery. To change your life, you must expand your identity. You must see yourself as the kind of person who lives that life. You have to upgrade the avatar in your mind. This requires you to stop identifying with your limitations. Stop saying, "I am just a lazy person," or "I am not good with numbers." These are spells you are casting on yourself. Start saying, "I am becoming disciplined," or "I am learning to manage my finances." Ultimately, controlling your thoughts is about taking responsibility. It is easy to blame our parents, our society, our trauma, or our chemistry for the state of our minds. And while those things undoubtedly shaped us, they do not have to define us forever. As the psychiatrist Viktor Frankl said, even in the concentration camps, everything can be taken from a man but one thing. The last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. If a man can control his mind in the worst hell imaginable, we can control ours in the comfort of our modern lives. It is a choice. It is a hard choice, a daily choice, a moment-by-moment choice, but it is the only choice that leads to freedom. When you finally take the reins of your mind, you realize that the world is not what it is. The world is what you are. When you change, everything changes. The difficult boss becomes a teacher of patience. The failure becomes a lesson in resilience. The loss becomes a clearing for something new. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become a creator of experience. You realize that happiness is not something you find out there. It is something you generate in here. You stop waiting for the world to be perfect so you can be at peace, and you find peace so you can handle the imperfect world. You begin to act with intention. Instead of reacting to triggers, you respond with wisdom. You pause. You choose the thought that serves you. You choose the action that aligns with your values. You build habits that support your growth. You surround yourself with people who lift you up. You treat your body with respect. You forgive your past. You envision your future. And day by day, thought by thought, brick by brick, you build a life that is unrecognizable from the one you started with. This is the work. There is no magic pill. There is no guru who can do it for you. It is just you and the voice in your head. You have to decide who is in charge. You have to decide that you love yourself enough to discipline your mind. You have to decide that you are tired of being your own worst enemy and you are ready to become your own best friend. The mind is a terrible master, but it is a wonderful servant. When you train it, when you direct it, when you fill it with purpose and hope and determination, it becomes the engine that drives you to your dreams. So, start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, catch the next thought that floats through your head. Look at it. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If not, let it go. Choose a better one. Do this again, and again, and again. It will be exhausting at first. It will feel fake. It will feel like a battle. But keep going. The neural pathways are forming. The old structures are crumbling. The light is coming in. You are waking up. You are taking the wheel. You are changing your mind. And in doing so, you are changing your life. The power is yours. It always has been. You just had to remember that you are the thinker, not the thought. You are the vast, silent ocean, and the thoughts are just waves on the surface. Let them come, let them go, and remain deep, calm, and free.